Hi everyone. This session here is about rolling releases and features, or the future of app delivery in the Atlassian ecosystem. Well, I'm Michael Cooper, and I'm a developer in the Atlassian Ecosystem team. So just a reminder that I'll be talking about some future features and that these are always subject to change. What I'm going to cover today is what's wrong with app versioning, what we want to do to address this, what we already have today, and where we want to head. So, why app versioning hurts today? Developers are supporting too many versions. Right now, if I have an app installed and the app gets a new major version, I stay on that old version until my admin goes in and presses a button to update the version. This leads to the developer having to maintain that old version. The majority of installations are still out of date 3 months after a new major version is deployed. To say that again, when an app ships a new major version, 3 months later, less than half of all installations are actually on that new version. That's 3 months later. If I'm a developer on Forge, that means that I'm supporting multiple branches of code for each major version of the app. So every time I need to update the app for some reason, like Atlassian deprecates something like an API or a runtime, or there's a security fix or a bug fix, or even just performance improvements, I have to go back and backport that change to all of those previous major versions so that everybody gets it. Now that's slow, expensive, and increases the chance that something's going to break. Now from an admin's point of view, updates are very opaque and not very informative. For example, minor version update, required scope changed. Now that's not a very clear explanation of what's actually changed or why the admin should even care. Release notes are generally automatically generated and give little to no information. Emails about these updates are generally unhelpful and not listened to. It's hard to get admins to upgrade their version of the app with this level of information, and those emails are broadly not seen that much by the admins because it's only for people who go into your marketplace listing and subscribe to the updates. Now, updates they're quite risky right now. Like, on one hand, if it's a minor version update, it's immediate and a huge blast radius if something goes wrong. Like, there could be a bug that hits all of your customers on that version almost instantly. Now, on the other hand, if you cause a major version bump, it doesn't roll out automatically. It requires the admins to go in and press a button, like we just talked about, which may not even happen. It means that you're now following that version, the old version, and having to maintain it and keep it up to date. Some admins are even just nervous that the update's going to break their users' workflows, so they might just avoid updating altogether. Kind of like, don't fix what isn't broken. And then enterprise admins, on the other hand, might want a proper way to stage an app update before they apply it to their users, and they want to line it up with their own internal change management windows. Because of all this, end users are probably missing out on a whole host of new features that could actually make their lives better. They might be missing out on performance improvements, security patches, or even just a bug fix that they've been facing that's been driving them nuts. To combat some of this, some developers might be front-loading their permissions just in case they need it in the future to avoid that dreaded major version bump. This whole situation isn't great for anyone. So the current model is not really fitting how cloud apps should be delivered, and it's causing a lot of friction. Now let's look at how we're aiming to fix this dreaded major version bump and move towards a world of decoupled permissions and automatic rollouts and optional features. Now, new code without permission changes. So permissions are becoming decoupled from the code. This is what we're calling decoupled permissions. That means that you can run the new version of the code even before the permissions are in place. The admins can then approve those permissions later. This is a big change for apps. You can no longer assume that just because the permissions were in your manifest, that it'll be there for the code to access. So The apps will need to check for permissions before calling APIs or performing other actions, or even just like grey things out in the UI. Building on that, features we'd like to add can contain additional permissions. So you've got your base app with its core permissions, and then additional features can then add additional permissions on top of that. It makes it clearer why those apps need those permissions, because you can attach a description to that feature, and you don't need to ask for all of the features for all of the permissions for every single feature that you want in your app. Those permissions only have to be approved by the people who want those features. So there's no need to avoid that new feature that people are requesting just because they're afraid of causing a major version bump. Instead, you will be able to add it as an optional feature. That way, only the users who want that feature are going to have to grant that permission. And for admins and users, versions will fade more into the background. Now, release notes, another pain point. We want each deploy to include release notes. Those release notes will help the admin know what's in that new version and potentially why they need to approve new permissions. Right now, apps have a lot of long-lived code branches from old major versions. We want to automate as much as possible these major version upgrades. When a new major version is available, all the eligible installations will automatically update over time. So that's the direction we're heading. Decoupled permissions, features, automatic rolling releases, and change logs. So, what have we got right now that you can start adopting to come along this journey with us? We've started with the concept of decoupling permissions because that was the largest reason for major version bumps and is a big step forward towards unlocking the automatic updates. This is live in a closed EAP right now for testing. So, what is this decoupled permissions? So we're introducing the concept of permissions being separated from the code version, unlocking the ability to ship a new major version, but get that code out to users straight away, and admins can come and approve those permissions later. Historically, users have had to wait for the admin to press that update button before they even get the new code. That means that each installation may have different permissions even if they're running the same code. The version of the code could be up to date, but the permissions may not have been approved yet. So this state will be accessible via an SDK in the runtime. So due to this ability to ship new code without waiting for the upgrade button, we hope to reduce the need for backporting and managing as many major versions. And we want to use this as a building block to move towards feature-based approvals, like what we talked about before, that an app can add a new feature which requires more permissions, but you can hide it in the UI until the admin finally approves a new permission or opts into that feature. The app could even tease that new feature in the UI to the users behind a check, and then ask their admin to turn it on or approve those new permissions. This can also be used in the future to build towards optional features, but we're not quite there yet. So what we can do today is there's an SDK. You can enroll in the EAP. The first step would be enrolling in the EAP. This gives you access to this decoupled state to start testing your app and see how it works in this situation. Either you can use the QR code on the slides or search for rolling releases in the developer docs. Or you can come and see me afterwards and I can help you find the right way to get there. Once you're in the EAP, you'll be able to declare app managed enforcement in your manifest under the permissions section. This indicates to the platform that the app will be responsible for checking the permissions before calling APIs and making egress. And it's now safe to enter a decoupled permission with this version of the app, and it's not just going to crash when it has the wrong permissions. So, now that you've declared it in your manifest, you need to actually start checking these permissions. Ideally, the app would disable features or sections of the app when it detects missing permissions, or use display conditions to hide the modules, or in non-UI functions, avoid just executing the function altogether. Now that you've got this in your app, you'll need to test it. How can we test that it's actually working? So first, we'll just deploy the new version like normal. Then, because you want to test how it goes when you update into this decoupled state, you install the old version using -- major version to specify an old major version of your app. Then, this is where you want to enter a decoupled state. You use this new upgrade code flag to the installation command, and that'll get you into that decoupled state on your own test instance. Then you can go and test your app, make sure it doesn't crash. And if you want to then perform more tests, you can uninstall and then reinstall on any previous major version that you want to test out or do different states. Also note that if this is a licensed app in the marketplace, this is still a blocker where you can't install production versions, but you probably shouldn't be doing this production testing anyway, so you should probably do it in staging or development. Now, here's an example of what it might look like. Ideally, an app would gracefully disable functions or sections of the app which aren't working yet. In this example, someone's been asking to integrate with Microsoft Teams. So it's going to need some new egress to Microsoft.com, but that wasn't in the previous version of the app. So the app's checking using the use permissions hook in the front end. This is the front end example. And when it detects has permission is false, it puts a little pop-up or disables the button. Now, there are some situations where the whole app basically doesn't really make sense when there's no certain permissions are missing. So in this example, we're demonstrating that we're just going to insert like a minimum permission checker component in the root level of the render to basically disable the whole app and show an alternate error message instead of the regular app. This is directing users to generally contact their admin, which isn't always ideal. Users don't always know who their admin is, or it's hard for them to even contact that admin. So watch this space. Well, we've got ideas. And also, the hook does have the list of missing permissions, the specific ones that are missing, so you can help you understand what's going on here. So we've got an example where we've shown a little modal here showing the exact permission that was missing. Now, another way to handle it is to use display conditions. With these conditions, you can hide the whole module from rendering instead of doing like what I showed before with the root level thing. You could actually just replace it or show an alternate placeholder extension instead of your main one if you wanted to. In this example, we only show the issue panel if the scope is granted. This is all well and good for a UI-based app, but what about events and triggers? For example, in a trigger, you got no UI. To avoid incurring costs on running those lambdas or those forge functions, you can use filter expressions to actually filter out those triggers so that you're not unnecessarily executing functions that are just going to fail. Now that we've seen decoupled permissions, let's look at what else is in the plan. So building on that, let's introduce features. So features can contain additional permissions, which they can communicate why you need those permissions, and it logically groups permissions into a set that you can explain. So, like I said before, you only need to include the permissions that you need, that not every user wants every feature, so it allows users to choose which feature they want according to their risk level, and keeps the list of base permissions smaller. Now, we're going to talk about rollouts. Now that we can unblock upgrading apps when the permissions change, we can work on automatically getting those major versions rolled out. And when you're doing that, we want the developer to decide if they want the release to start straight away or whether they want to kick it off manually later. And when rolling out, they can set the rollout speed based on the risk level of that change. You might want to do like a fast rollout for a security fix, or a standard rollout maybe over a week or two, or like a cautious rollout over a month, based on the risk level of this change. And then the vision is for admins to then be able to see upcoming updates and their scheduled date they're going to get that update, and see that change log once we get that in there. For enterprise, they also have what's called bundled release tracks, which is the ability once a month for them to get all the updates. And that's already in place for Atlassian apps, where once a month there's a specific day where we apply all their updates. And we want to use this kind of system to integrate into that, so that apps will also get upgraded on that same day. And there's also another feature called freeze windows that they can use with Atlassian apps right now as well, where they can delay updates for up to 14 days. So we would want to honor that as well. Thanks. Here's the link in case you missed it. Please join the EAP to be part of the early adopters. You can help shape the direction we're headed and prepare your app for the future. I'll be around all week. You can come and see me if you've got any questions. I'll try to hang around near the Forge booth. Thank you.